Hello and welcome to MotorCult episode 19. I'm Eric Berger, joined as always by Ryan Siniski. Hello, sir.
Hello there.
And then we've got Jana back as well.
Hi. I was waving at the camera, even though you can't hear me wave.
That's fine. It can see you, so.
They can see you wave.
Yes.
Alrighty. We're at 19 already.
We are at 19. I can't believe how fast these things actually go when we are consistently doing 2 a week.
Yeah,
But
really.
I kind of like it that way. So.
No, it's great.
And it's kind of been a rough one. By rough, I mean not really rough, but busy weekend for both of us.
God,
so.
yeah. No, you told me what you were doing yesterday. You had
Oh my God,
5
Saturday.
things.
It was terrible.
What all did you do on Saturday?
So Cars and Coffee.
Okay.
Canterbury. Started there. I got there like 8:30, and I did the Cannonball Fun Road Rally, which takes off from Cars and Coffee, so I had to go. I would have anyway. So we got 8:30 a.m. Cars and Coffee, and then during my time at Cars and Coffee, Teen from Tint Pros was at my house.
Tinting everything.
He was tinting 6 cars because I had scheduled a tint day with him on that day. So I had the week prior to orchestrate everyone involved in this tint day to bring cash and drop their car off at
my
like
God.
hour increments during the day. I had to let him into my house and my garage with my phone. And then, yeah, Cannonball left at 10 o'clock, and that lasted until 4:30. And then the after party went till about 5:10 for us. And then I had to go home, which is maybe a mile and a half from where it ended, which isn't that bad.
That's not bad.
And then I had to get Corey to bring me downtown St. Paul for my lawyer's wedding, which started at 5:30.
Oh my
And then I
God.
did that till
I love
10.
The phrase, my lawyer's wedding.
My lawyer's wedding. It sounds like my big fat Greek wedding,
Yeah.
but it wasn't.
No, this guy does a lot for you.
And then I got home. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. No, he's a good friend. He's also my lawyer. So after that, I went home again. My sister-in-law brought me home, which was nice. And then I caught Corey before he started drinking for the night. We went to go get the 850. Because also on this weekend, I bought a blue E46 M3. And I had left the
Christ.
850. I had left the 850 down at this guy's apartment because I needed to swap cars and get the blue M3 here for vinyl because the Cannonball requires a vinyl livery on the car. Needless to say, the podcast day we're doing on Sunday today, not Saturday.
Holy shit.
And I am really feeling good about how little I have to do today. Like
Yeah.
it's feeling really nice. So
No, today is now my Saturday for you because
Right.
after I'm done here, immediately going to my house, I'm putting the engine in the pulling the old engine out of the Cresta, putting the new
7M.
engine
Oh, yes.
in the Cresta,
hell yeah.
and then I'm doing Dungeons and Dragons with all my nerd friends, and it's just it's all stuff. It's all self-imposed.
Oh
crap.
sure. Yeah. No, I could have done nothing yesterday and it would have been fine.
Yeah.
But like
No, it's all stuff that you signed up for.
right, exactly. I try to maintain. But anyway, let's do beer.
Yeah, we're gonna do beers, then we're gonna go into what I did
Exactly.
yesterday.
I want to hear about that show. So
And yeah, we're gonna start out. We're gonna review Greenbelt Northeast.
Yep.
Why are we getting Northeast? Because as you have heard, we've been incredibly busy and didn't have time to go to the liquor store. So we are now reviewing our drinking beer. Northeast, I've had it a million times. It is delicious. Let me crank this open.
I'm getting better at cranking the game.
Yeah. It's a delicious normal
I
drinking
do
beer.
love this beer.
You know, you drink this in the same way that you would drink, say, like Budweiser or something, but it doesn't taste like horse shit.
Exactly. It's
So-
really smooth. It's got a nice flavor to it, but it's not overwhelming. You
Yeah.
can drink it on a hot day. You can drink it on a cold day. I can't
It's true.
even. It's
It's a-
really smooth.
It's a lot better than premium.
Yeah, it is.
Um,
At first, when I started switching back and forth between premium and Northeast, I'm like, oh, it's the same. There's different.
no.
No,
that-
Northeast
no,
is
this
head and shoulders.
Yeah,
above
this is
premium.
way better. It's
Yeah.
an amber lager. It's actually, I mean, as far as
I like the label too.
amber lagers go, like
Yeah.
it's not anywhere in the top 1,000 best ones.
Oh, of course not.
But it's also, if you rate this, you know, on par with something like PBR, Budweiser, or like a macro brewery,
Yeah.
this is gonna be way better in every way.
Agreed.
And you're not gonna hate yourself, you know.
No, this is one of like a couple like drinkable beers I keep in my house at all times.
You know, not only that, like you can actually drink a few and not get drunk.
yeah,
which
it's
is
kind of
great.
nice too. I don't know
Yeah.
if this is like 5.4 or
It's
something.
like, I mean, it's 4.7.
4.7.
Yeah. So.
Oh, geez, yeah, look at that.
I also like that they
17
actually,
IBU too.
yeah,
right?
they actually write the IBU on it, like which is. So,
There's no bittering.
yeah, I think it's funny because like most of the macro breweries
Yeah, they
don't
just ignore that
bother
fact,
because nobody
yeah.
cares because
we're macro. We
because yeah, no, if you're buying like a Coors or a Budweiser, you're buying that to get drunk before you go bludgeon your wife or something.
Or fuck your
Like,
sister.
yeah. Exactly. This is the kind of beer you get if you're actually like I like my beers,
Right.
but I gotta do some yard work.
Right. I'm like, I'm coming back in, and I need a beer after today. Kind
Yeah,
of thing, so.
exactly, like that. So
No, I love Nordies, so I'm not at all bummed about having to do this. I mean, we were going to do it at some point anyway. We talked about it, but it was a perfect excuse to do this.
it was a
today.
perfect excuse.
And you know what? We're probably going to do it for episode 20 as well. So
probably. Actually, I did see it. You had a Summit whatever in there.
Yeah, we
so,
can do that one
Yeah,
next,
we'll
yeah.
do that.
Okay. Let's talk about that.
I
Modus
wanted
show,
to
or Modus.
have.
God damn it.
Yeah, I wanted to get a Modest beer since you're reviewing
Right.
their car show.
Right.
But I dropped the ball, so
That's
whatever.
I am not at all.
This is
concerned.
another Minneapolis beer. Yeah, no. So I was
Nepotism.
one of the judges at the Modest 100 car show.
What categories were
All
you
of
judging?
them.
Did you give my electric any awards?
You didn't have. They didn't give you a number, so I couldn't.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, all the models loved it.
Oh yeah, you sent me a picture
Yeah,
of
it
a
was like one of
fairly
many.
attractive woman on my
Yeah,
car. In fact,
uh,
I'm going to show the camera since you can't really see the TV all that well, and I don't have it on my computer.
That is a picture I took, and for people that are listening to it audibly, it is a top-heavy blonde lady who is laying across Burger's electric Fiat.
I mean, what can I say? The thing's kind of a big deal.
I was laughing so hard, like I had to turn around so she didn't see
Was
me.
somebody like taking her photo when you
Yeah,
took
Yeah.
this?
an
Okay.
actual-
Out of shot.
If you
is-
ever find that professional-ish photo, please send it to me.
Oh, I will. No, it's a buddy of mine that's doing
Okay,
it.
great.
Like I want to.
I'll frame it and put it in here.
I'm pretty sure that's why she was there, because he's like, hey, why don't you take a picture of this really cool car? And like found the car I rolled up in.
Oh, yeah.
It was
Um,
really funny when she first saw, like, she was like going over to another car, and he's like, "No, this one." And I was like sitting there, like, "Oh my god!" Like,
I
is
could
this
tell Jana
actually
was driving the
happening?
E because I got in that thing to move it at night, and I'm like, my knees.
Actually, I noticed that you and I have the exact same driving position.
Excellent.
I did not have to adjust a thing.
Awesome.
And
that-
then I drove it home.
Yeah, then Jan drove it home and just ruined
I was
it.
a lot rowdy, a lot
fine.
more rowdy with it than he was.
Good.
No, she
The
wasn't.
batteries were warm, so yes, good. I mean, you may as well. It's an electric car. You're not gonna hurt it.
But yeah, no, that was definitely the rainiest car show I've ever been to.
Okay.
It
Yeah,
was
well,
like-
yeah, I
It was
mean-
with the exception of like a 2.5 hour window. It was a downpour
Yeah.
for like the majority of the day.
I mean, I'll talk about my experience yesterday too, but yeah, it was a rainy day.
Very
in
rainy.
paradise.
No, it was really, but you know, that also kind of called the field, because if I had the full 100 cars to judge,
Oh,
I
God.
would have died, because I got the probably 60
Okay.
that came out. I had that done with 20 minutes to spare.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah,
That's-
like-
well, I mean, there's a lot to look at when you're judging, so
Yeah,
I
and
believe
like
that.
I'm actually being like legit with all these cars, and you know, it's one of those things with a car show, when you're at a car show in Minnesota
Yeah.
versus at a car show in Chicago. I was actually talking I was talking to Sing Cha about this.
What show does he run? Or
He's
group?
part of Drive Cartel.
Okay.
I was talking to him. I'm actually wearing a Drive Cartel shirt. Yay!
Yeah, I can see that in the camera. It looks good. I like the mustard yellow. I'm
it's
actually
a
wearing a
great color.
Cannonball Run shirt.
Hey, look at
I'm
that.
wearing a Harmar Superstar shirt.
Yeah, actually, you can see that.
Anyway, so I was talking to Sing, and we were talking about how in Chicago, when you go to a car show,
Yeah.
the quality of car builds are just so much higher.
Yeah, we were talking
And
about this in the
we were-
last episode.
Yeah, and we were talking about that. Actually, me and Sing kind of came to a conclusion, because Chicago, you make about the same amount of money as you do here.
Yeah.
It's not like moving to California and you suddenly make like $3 an hour more than you would in Minnesota.
Well, you have to. The cost of living out there
Exactly.
is appalling.
But the cost of living in Chicago is like quite a bit higher than it is here.
Yeah, for the most part.
The thing is, what people are in Minnesota that they're not in Chicago is lazy.
Oh.
Because if you think about it,
Well, they're getting shot at in Chicago all the time, so they have to be on their feet.
well, everybody's like always trying to one up each other in Chicago. Like it's it's a much stronger community because they have a lot of car shows. Any given weekend, you can go to Chicago, go to an import car show that's being judged and get a trophy.
Jesus. that sounds like a load of shit. That sounds horrible.
Well, I mean, you don't have to, but you can.
Right, but I mean,
like
it's-
that's the thing
It's
is
a lot
like,
to think about.
but you have a higher caliber of car that you're competing against.
I still stand by there's just more cars.
Well, no, it's a higher caliber. I mean, that's the thing.
I don't know if I agree.
Well, no, because we have like these are the best cars that we had in Minnesota,
Okay.
and like so there was like some of the standouts. There's a Liberty Walk wide body M3, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, I think I saw your photo.
Yeah, that one's kind of cool. A right hand drive wide body NSX Type R.
Nice. Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was really cool. First generation Subaru Legacy wagon, rust free.
Yeah, that thing was rad.
It was rust free, STI swap, EJ22 closed deck bottom end.
nice.
The DCCD controller and all the electronics from the STI put into the factory interior, and it all looked perfectly stock. Like if you weren't a Subaru person, like if you went up to that,
That's a
and
wagon.
you saw
yeah,
that
I'd be like,
interior,
that is awesome.
you're like, this is a stock interior. This guy just put in a bigger turbo. Okay. Even though, or he put in a front mount, I guess.
Right.
But
well, no, I saw the photo. It looked.
yeah,
I mean,
like it looked really well
just
done.
the fact that it was a super clean wagon, let alone the fact that it had an STI 6-speed and a closed deck block, and
Yeah,
that's rad. Like
It
a
was-
Subaru that won't blow up.
basically, yeah. It
which
was
is
like
great, and it's a
up
wagon.
in the wagon. Yeah, it's a perfect build. And a bunch of like rare JDM stuff on it that I'm not gonna bore you with.
Okay.
But then like, well, it's like I'll switch over to like the next tier of cars because you had like 3 or 4 really nice cars,
Okay.
and then you had this like kind of nosedive. in,
Sure.
Like,
But how much of that was due
Prep.
to the weather and people just not showing?
the thing is like weather.
Yeah.
That's gonna. Yeah, you're gonna get some cars are
It's gonna
dirtier on
stop
the
a lot of the
outside. It's
nicest
gonna
stuff
stop.
from showing
Well,
out.
I mean that wide body NSX was on Racing Slicks, and he made it out.
Well, clearly he's a god among men.
Yeah, but I
He or
mean,
she.
like, even then, my thing is, I looked at a lot of these cars. They had
Yeah.
filthy engine bays.
Just like my cars.
Yeah, but I mean, like, you're not taking the car shows to show them off.
Did you know how dirty the engine bay was in the Fiat 500e before you went to the show?
I had a guess.
Yeah, I had a
Yep.
guess based off how dirty the rear end of the car was,
Yep.
but it also wasn't being judged, so not my problem. These are people that were actually being judged. I think if you're going to a car show,
Hashtag daily
you owe it
driven.
you owe it to yourself to clean your engine bay.
Yeah.
Just disconnect your battery if you're worried about it. Pull your
Just
battery
leave
out
it
of the
running.
car.
That's what you want to do.
And yeah, we're really running. But
That way you know it's fine.
yeah, you just degrease stuff, spray it with a power washer. Doesn't have to be like a crazy
Nope,
powerful
you just
one.
spray it with purple power, take a rough coarse brush to it, hose it off, you're good.
Exactly,
Yep.
and that will help you so much.
Yeah,
There's so
for
many
sure.
people that they didn't even bother getting the dust off the valve cover, and a lot of people got docked points on that. So there were a lot of cars that were like really good builds, but zero prep put into the car.
Hmm.
And actually, there was a car. The guy got just barely edged his way in.
Mhm.
Had a Mark IV Jetta VR6 that was static, slammed,
Ugh.
tucking on some rotiforms to stretch tires. But the reason that he got in there over one other car that we were considering
Yeah.
was that car was flawless. Like he had perfectly cleaned it.
All right.
So I looked past the chip in the windshield, and
You're going to be a concourse judge in like
I
10
know, right?
years.
I got past the chip in the windshield and past the dent in the fender because it was so well cleaned. So
Watch, next year is going to be featured mark at Pebble Beach is going to be Subaru, and you're going to be like sending paperwork out to people like,
this is the I know, right? I am a concourse judge for Subaru now. Yes,
just like find whoever gets picked and then just like
That'd be
kidnap
my
him
dream.
and then switch places with him.
that would be totally be my dream.
I would love to see that happen.
Maybe we should talk to them when we go down to. I always call it
To
Motor
Pebble
Week,
Beach this week?
but-
Oh, Motor
Yeah.
Week could be. Oh, they
So-
should call it Motor Week. That'd be
that'd be
great.
great.
Right?
Can John Davis sponsor Pebble Beach?
Do you know how badly I want to go to Monterey Car Week in hopes of seeing John Davis in the
That'd
wild?
be so rad.
It'd be even better if he was
Bring,
But wait,
wearing.
would
bring
we-
windbreakers.
Would we actually see him in the wild, or would he just be wearing a windbreaker getting a blowjob?
Yeah, we would.
I hope all of the above.
In the wild.
Really.
Okay.
We'd be walking.
He
through,
would be
it would
behind a
literally be
90s
in-
car.
No, it'd be literally in Big Sur, like in the wild, and he'd be butt ass naked with the exception of a windbreaker,
Windbreaker.
getting a blowjob.
All right.
I think you mean his khaki pants would be lightly unzipped and slightly sagged, just enough for him to be getting a blowjob.
Okay.
Yes,
Alright.
exactly that.
That reminds me of, was it episode 3 when I did the John Davis type intro?
I feel like we should just do that from now on.
I don't know. I'd listen to it, and I'm kind of over. You know, when people first start hearing their voice in an electronic means, they hate it.
Yeah.
But then they get used to it. Like I'm totally used to my regular voice now because
Yeah.
of the oval board channel. But like I did that and I listened back to it and I just cringed super hard. I'm like, I don't know if it actually sounded that terrible, but
No, it sounded hilarious.
Okay, great.
Like anybody that ever watches retro reviews, like totally understands.
which
that.
incidentally, if you guys don't watch Motor Week retro reviews, go do that. Like
You're
just pause the
fired
podcast.
from listening to our podcast.
Yeah,
Well,
like we don't want you as a listener if you don't watch
I mean,
those.
I wouldn't say you can still listen and give us
Fine, as long as you
give us clicks and stuff. That actually matters.
yeah, rate us on iTunes too. That'd be good. As
Yeah,
far
that
as
would-
I can
that'd
tell,
be
the only
great.
person that's done that is Scott.
I could go do that right now.
Ah, sweet.
But
Thanks,
no,
Janet.
overall, I mean, it was really cool seeing the quality of show, the quality of cars that we had. And when I'm saying like a lot of these cars kind of fell off in quality, these are still like the worst car there. Well, there's one car I was really questioning why I was in there,
Sure.
but everything else is like the 99 of the 100 cars that they had that were in there.
Sure.
If I saw them at any other car show, would absolutely be getting an award of some sort. Like these were probably the best of the best of Minnesota.
Sure,
So
okay.
it was pretty cool.
Well,
So-
still, it looked like a cool show. I mean, when I drove by at like 4, I mean, the show had been going on for some time, and it was
Yeah,
still-
it'd been going on for a while.
And I saw a couple of cars that were in the Cannonball had showed up to
Yeah.
the
Oh,
show
yeah.
as well. I'm like, oh, okay.
those people were incredibly busy. I don't know how they did it.
Yeah. Had I skipped the wedding ceremony and gone to the reception only, I could have made it work. But
Actually, one car that was I do want to point
is
out
it that
that
C4?
no, it was a 93 Ford Escort.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm gonna talk about that for now. It's
If I fall asleep, just forgive me.
had a Mazda 323 GTR engine, which is a homologation rally engine.
GTX.
No, the GTR was a generation after the GTX.
What was that car?
It was all-wheel drive, but it was more than the GTX. It was all right, so you know the GTX generation?
Yep.
The one that's like a 93, 94-ish with the
That was like the face.
kind of bubbly with a rear end,
Oh.
bar taillights.
I thought that was later than that.
No, this one was like mid-90s because the 323 was like late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah, I figured that stopped in
Um,
like 93 or something.
Let's
the
see,
GTX.
323 GTR. Anyway, it had an engine out of a 323 GTR in it. Let's see here. Yeah, your computer's gonna be faster than my brick. Oh yeah, there it is. Yeah, it's the one I was thinking of.
I gotcha.
Yeah, one of
Wow.
those.
Yeah, I've never even seen that before.
Super rare car, even within Mazda freak like culture. But anyway, he had the engine from one of those in his Escort. It was a direct bolt-in.
Nice.
Made 300 horsepower.
Oh my god. I assume it's turbocharged.
Oh yeah, turbocharged. And that
It's like a
one, that
1.8
one.
or
I don't know.
I know the GTX was a 1.6, so I figured it was a
I
little.
imagine probably a 2.0.
Okay.
since-
Oh, probably
Yeah,
homologation. I
for
gotcha.
homologation. But yeah, I mean, look at that. That's a cool looking car.
Yeah, I'm making it bigger so
Incidentally,
it shows
it's
up on
also
the-
my favorite generation of 323.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, we never got it. So even in Japan, like they made like 1,500 of them. They
Come
made
on,
them.
Japan.
They
What are you
made,
doing?
they made them just for homologation and like didn't sell them to anybody else. Well, Ford was also.
I think that is the.
I think Ford
definition.
probably nixed them on selling outside of Japan
Okay.
because Ford and Mazda were in bed then. But no, it was
So anyway,
that
yeah.
was a super cool car. He had some terrible wheels on it, but the guy had also like had the car for 10 years. It was his first car,
Sure.
and when he got it, it was an automatic,
Ooh.
literally an ex rental car.
Oh, nice.
But it was flawless. That was probably one of the best built cars I've ever seen.
Okay.
It's just that he really needed to step it up a little bit on the outside. But
Fair
anyway,
enough. Oh, cool powertrain though.
speaking of Cannonball,
Yeah.
tell me about it.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, we kind of went over my schedule yesterday, but the Cannonball, it's a checkpoint-based road rally for a charity. The charity was Northern Voices, which is for deaf children, basically their education and scholarships. So, the guy who runs it, Tyler Christofferson, he has daughters that have, I believe they're deaf. I don't really actually know, probably should, but the rally was, I think it's in its 4th year last Saturday, and all years prior, there was a preset checkpoint schedule. So you went from one to another. It was timed with a transponder, and there were points for the challenges. How it was different this year, they did not time you with transponders, and they gave you lists of optional checkpoints. Every checkpoint was optional,
So-
but they had regions around the Twin Cities, 4 regions geographically, and there were certain times these checkpoints were open for. So, like, you would have to plan out which ones you go to for the most points, when, where, and then time your trip. It was actually kind of intense. I mean, Corey really didn't want to do any navigating, so we just sort of did whatever. And we ended up mid-pack still.
Oh,
but,
wow.
Yeah.
All right.
And we did 300 miles of driving or something on the rally.
Jesus.
That was a lot. I mean, went out to like Hutchinson, Minnesota for a beer. That was a 25-point challenge. We ended up with 165. Most of the pack was in like the 140s, but there were a couple that were like 300. So
a few people
I
took
kind
it
of feel
super
like
seriously.
they either really broke the law all the time and didn't get caught, or they cheated. I don't know, but like we were driving, we'll just say 10 over the whole time. We did the checkpoints we could do in the allotted time, and then we were done, and we were at 165. So you could have realistically done maybe like 30 or 40 more points than we did without really stretching too much harder. But anyway, it was a fun time. Taking off from Cars and Coffee was a pretty typical thing that they did.
Yeah.
But they put us inside a building in Canterbury to start from, which was really nice because it rained all day.
Oh my God.
It was a mon-fucking-soon.
No, it totally was.
Except for Hutchinson. Bright and sunny out there.
Seriously?
But it was like an hour and a half west.
Hutchinson is like, yeah, it's about a half hour outside of where I'm comfortable driving from.
Yeah.
'Cause,
No, I after we were there, we went to Delano for the big chicken, and that was almost an hour east.
Yes.
And Delano is really,
Jesus.
really far west.
I
That's
dated-
that's like just
yeah.
south of
I dated a
Buffalo,
girl
Minneapolis.
from Delano, and it gave me about an hour commute to her house saying, is this worth it?
No. The answer is no. But anyway, no, it
Um,
was a fun time. That I mentioned the car I bought a 2001 Laguna Seca Blue E46 M3 6-speed.
Did you buy it just for the...
No, but I bought it less than 24 hours before the rally started.
Yeah, what's the story on that? 'Cause he kind of surprised me with that one. I just like,
Oh, well,
you're like, oh, I have a E46 M3
well,
now.
I decided like a month ago that I was going to look for a Laguna Seca Blue on black coupe M3.
Okay.
And the reason behind that was my best bud Gareth back in, I think he died in 2015 now. But anyway, he had an 01 Laguna Seca Blue on black 6-speed coupe.
Okay. Yeah.
Awesome car. Competition package wheels, perfect condition, looked awesome. But when he died, his family took the car and wouldn't sell it. I offered to buy it. They said no. And I don't even know where it is. Probably sitting in a garage rotting away. So
I'm sure you'll get it as a barn find in like 20 years.
probably. But it's being driven exclusively by idiots if it is being driven. So
It's not. I'm
this
sure.
car popped up through two mutual friends. They both gave me his contact information at the same time. And it's a higher mileage, definitely like a driver quality car. And it needs a fair bit of rust repair. But I mean, it's got an interesting provenance. It was originally a BMW NA press car. It was
that's cool.
It was originally delivered in the Bahamas
Oh.
and then shipped to New Jersey.
Oh,
where
what
it
kind-
did-
Laguna Seca Blue. Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, that means it's got every option. So it's got like the really early 2001 like 4x3 aspect nav screen in it.
Love
Yes.
it.
Yeah, it's really
Actually,
cool.
to be, I'm not gonna lie, BMW's navigation from like 2001 looks about as good as Subaru's does today. Because back when I was working at Subaru, I sold an 02 530i, and it had nav. And my way of selling it is I showed the customer, like, look at the quality of this nav. This is amazing. It's my first time I'd ever seen it.
Yeah.
And I said, now follow me. We went into a Subaru Outback touring on the show floor. I put the battery charger on it because it was dead, because it was a nice car on a show floor. And of course, it's going to have a dead battery.
Yep.
Put the battery charger on, turned it on, showed him the nav. And I'm like, it is the same. It is literally the same.
Like the
And
intellectual
this
property
car,
thing ran
This
out.
car is like 16 years newer and has the same quality,
yeah.
the same interface.
It's the same. It's the same system.
The same horseshit anti-aliasing.
Oh yeah.
Like, it's,
Oh yeah. Because the system in the BMWs was designed for the 4x3, and in the later systems they just stretched the pixels.
Oh,
That's all they
God.
did.
That
So like
sounds
it's
horrible.
the same nav computer in that car as in the 530i that you guys had.
Yeah. And it looked the same as a brand new Subaru.
Sorry, that was me.
Someone's at your door.
Yeah, somebody was at my front door. Probably Aaron. I don't know. But no, it's a great car. I mean, it's got parking sensors and but it didn't have the SMG, which is awesome. It was
That's
actually
perfect.
a 6-speed. But
That's
yeah.
actually
And it
perfect.
had the competition package wheels on it already. So
I wonder how many of those had like all of those options in that color, that rare of a color, and did not get the automatic transmission.
probably not that many.
Because usually, if somebody's to go like all the
Full
way and get all
options,
those
yeah.
stuff,
It
they
was
go
like my
full
convertible.
douche and they get automatic.
Yep.
It's like that's kind of why.
Yeah.
That's the thing is like why part of me really wants to buy a Mirage,
Oh yeah.
because I know I'm never gonna find one with every single option and a manual transmission, because the person that gets every single option isn't gonna care, and they're gonna get the auto, and it's gonna
Right.
suck.
But there's one person probably that ordered one. He's like, no, I want all the good stuff, but I want a stick.
Yeah, I'm sure Kua's got some like well-off brother that's got like a fully optioned out Mirage with a manual transmission.
Oh my god, that would be kind of a fun car.
It would be. I've been telling everybody, if you can get Mitsu, get that. Actually, I had this guy who at work bought a A4 and his car just completely blew up basically.
No way.
Yeah, I know. But
Wow.
he didn't do a pre-purchase inspection or anything.
Wow.
And I said like semi-condescendingly, because he was kind of a jerk the whole time, I'm like,
Okay.
you know, Mitsubishi has some really great options on leases right now in the Mirage. You can get like every single thing you want in a Mirage.
Yeah.
And then you can just own it for $50 a month or whatever. And
You're
it's
not
like,
too far off
and
reality.
the thing is like I was giving him sincere advice and he took it as me being a prick. And I'm like, dude, no, I mean, it's actually a good car. You should actually like look at it. I don't know.
I enjoyed driving Kuas.
Yeah,
I mean, there are
they're-
some things about it that aren't great, but like I loved how the average MPG thing was like 49.8 when I was driving it. I'm like, oh my god,
It's insane. Like, no, that
it's
car.
like a Civic. What do you call it?
A CRX HF?
HF, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's what I was to say. Like, that car is a modern 89 Civic.
Pretty much is.
And I love the 89 Civic.
Oh no way! I'd
Yeah, I
never
know.
known that.
Like the 89,
Oh wow.
the EF Civic
know,
to
everyone
me
is surprised.
is the E30 to you.
oh okay, wow.
Like, it's
All
like
right, well.
that high comeuppance. So saying something is a modern EF Civic is strong words.
No, I understand. That's very high praise coming from you.
So anyway, the Cannonball Fun Rally.
Yeah.
So it rained a lot.
yeah.
Some people probably cheated. Well, I don't know if they cheated. They probably stretched the rules, because that's what motorsport is, though.
Yeah.
Like, nobody's ever won motorsport by like actually following the rules to a T. It's
all you
always
would
about
have
stretching.
to do is split up your team into 2 cars and then do checkpoints with 2 different cars, and then you would like win, no problem.
That's
you-
probably what they did.
It's just photo and
Plan
video
next
proof
year?
of being there.
That's hilarious.
That's all you'd have to
Do
do.
you have to have the car, or just you?
Oh, it just has to be there's like a team member requirement. Like some of them are navigators, some of them are the drivers. Like if you split it all up, you could easily hit 300.
Probably what they did.
Probably. Either
Yeah.
that, they were literally going like jail speed the whole time. Like, going out to Hutchinson, we were following a 650S McLaren, and like every time they overtook somebody, I'm just like, well, I'll just catch back up doing like 15 over.
Jesus.
Took some time. But anyway, let's
Must
talk.
be nice having a bunch of money.
Speaking of Hutchinson, that's basically a desert.
It's just about in the middle of nowhere. And Laguna Seca Blue means dry lagoon. So
There you go.
now you know what Laguna Seca
The
means.
best blues are named after racetracks.
Yes, it's
Ooh,
true.
That is a good point.
It is.
Yeah. Or if
Nagaro
you have
blue,
a
Laguna Seca blue, Le Mans blue.
if you have a Hyundai Genesis Coupe, every single color is named after a racetrack.
That's how you know it's performance.
Yeah, that's how you know it's a race car. Even though the exact same colors are available on the Genesis sedan as normal color names.
That's how you know it's a real race car.
Exactly.
Fancy.
Because race car.
So fancy.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Desert talk.
Yes.
If anybody, well, not if, because I know all of you follow us on Facebook, because
Yep.
you should be.
Yep.
You're gonna notice that on Friday, it was obviously me, not Burger, that posted this.
No way.
But, there was an article posted from Japanese
So
Nostalgia
JDM.
Car that I did not write.
Allegedly.
I do have to say that, but well, no, I mean, I didn't. It's a fact. I think Ben wrote it. Oh, Matt DeMangos wrote it. Which is a great last name.
Yeah, it
Matt
is.
of Mangoes.
Oh my god.
But anyway, basically, it's a story. It's basically a rehash of a story that Jalopnik originally posted.
Yeah.
Of course, I also posted the Japanese Nostalgia Car
Let me.
one.
I'll pull it up on the TV
Yeah.
here.
I posted the Japanese Nostalgia Car post because, well, I'm petty. I know that they basically copy word for word my articles.
Yeah, that has happened on many occasions actually.
Yeah, so, that's why I did the JNC one. I thought about doing the original Jalopnik article, but basically, that car was found on this Facebook page called the Wrenching Network. The story behind that car is the owner of it was this kid's dad who died in a tragic accident in like the late 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And the police, for whatever reason, never moved the car.
Even though they were aware of the issue.
Well, no, it's 2 hours away from like the nearest dirt road. So like he's like literally in the middle
rural.
of nowhere.
So it's like
yeah.
Big Lake.
Yeah, no, I'm talking like in the
know, it
middle
was a
of
joke.
Lake Superior, if
hate
there's an
Big Lake.
island there.
We could make one.
Yeah,
Let's
basically.
do it.
Like
MotorCult Isle.
it made Big Lake look like San Diego.
Whoa.
Yeah, so it's literally in the middle of nowhere. If you have to zoom out a lot on Google Earth to even see like a road nearby it. But yeah, just look at that car. That's after they'd pulled it out a little bit.
You can kind of see what's going on the video stream. I'm sorry. I'm still working on this, guys.
So anyway, this guy in the Wrenching Network posted about this Datsun wagon that was owned by his biological father that he hadn't seen since he was a child.
Mhm.
He found out his father had died. He had moved to Wisconsin after he had lived in foster homes. And he still lives in Wisconsin. Anyway,
In a foster home?
No, he's like in his 30s, I think. But
He is probably an adult now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I was kind of making a backhanded joke. I have a terrible sense of humor.
Anyway, his sister in Pennsylvania said, "Hey, Dad used to have a Datsun," and they were looking at the satellite imagery of the land that the father had before he died,
Mm-hmm.
and they found the Datsun on there. And if you scroll down a little bit, you'll see the Google Earth like satellite photo image. Yeah, it's right here. You can
Oh, wow.
you can see
Yeah.
the Datsun on the satellite photo.
Wow.
And so basically, from this Facebook group called the Wrenching Network, which is like a 25,000 person group that's just auto mechanics.
Oh my God.
Yeah, like from around the country. They were like, "Hey, let's go help this dude get his dad's car back." And so his name's Michael Blackburn, but they're like, "Let's go
Another
get
cool last
yeah,
name.
let's go get Michael's car back." So multiple people attempted to go out to get it, and somebody first tried it with a Ford like Exploder or something, some crossover, and they got a flat tire before they even got like. They were still an hour and a half away, and they had gotten a flat tire.
Oh my God.
So this other guy goes that's like lives in the area.
Yeah.
He rents a Nissan Titan and like annihilates the Titan in the process. Like just
I got the extra damage waiver.
he got the extra damage waiver knowing he was gonna do this. Just took off all of the paint basically, like from like bushes and like rocks.
Yeah, I
and
mean,
shit.
there are no roads where this is.
No, that road there
Yeah.
was what you saw in the picture.
Yeah.
Like that's not really a road; it's
rock.
a small cliff.
Rocks.
Yeah.
Basically.
So this guy goes out there with the Titan, takes a picture of it, says, "All right, it exists. This definitely exists. Furthermore, it's not been shot or anything. It's not been, picked apart or lit on fire by vandals because it's so far out in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
You don't even get vandals." Like,
Right.
He noted
Untouched land.
He noted saying the nearest beer bottle he found was from the late 90s. So probably since the guy's dad had been out there, other than the police, nobody else had been there.
Right.
But anyway, so a few months go by. They're able to get something worked out where they get an off-road recovery team to pull the car out from the dirt. So off-road recovery team comes in. Turns out it's the same off-road recovery team that responded to the dad's accident like 20 years prior. Yeah, which is just kind of neither here nor there. But basically they pulled it out, and now they're going to get the car back to Michael's home in Wisconsin
Yeah.
by doing a relay tow.
What the fuck is a relay tow?
Everybody's going to tow it like 100 or 200 miles. I'm not sure if they're using their trucks. Or
I was
going to
say, is that AAA? Because those are oddly
AAAs.
similar to AAA distances.
But they're going to get like 18
God.
people to tow the car a few miles at a time.
That's pretty cool.
But if you go into the Jalopnik article, you'll see the pictures up close of like kind of what the cars had done to it.
Sure.
Because it's basically been sandblasted
Yeah.
in like 120-degree heat for 21 years.
The interior still looks like it's in pretty good shape.
It is full of animal shit and totally ripped apart.
Fun.
So basically, he's going to need an interior. But the thing is, what matters, though, the body's straight.
Yeah. That looks pretty good.
Most of the stuff's there. He still has all the suspension and running gear. And the engine's still there.
Even though the hood's been open for God knows how long.
I think the hood got blown open from wind.
Yeah, I'm sure it did.
Yeah,
I mean,
because
I'm sure like the glass got blasted out from sandstorms and stuff
yeah,
like that. So.
that's exactly what happened. So basically, he's gonna need help restoring it. So if any of our listeners have the plug on Datsun B310 parts,
which is probably everyone.
Well, I mean, it's shockingly one of the easier cars to find parts for old Datsuns.
That's a lot of qualifiers, but yes, I'm
Yeah,
inclined to agree.
if you know of a lead on that,
Yeah.
message me either on Facebook or email me.
Yep.
My email is rseninsky, SENENSKY @hotmail.com.
Yep, or you can hit us up on the MotorCult page.
Exactly. Anyone.
Patreon, Facebook, whatever.
Get, smoke signals, however you want.
Yep.
You can contact me. I write for Japanese Nostalgia Car as well. I can get in contact with Michael. They also have a GoFundMe page that another member of the Wrenching Network started for Michael.
Sounds like a bang-up group of fellas and ladies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we're going to get the car back on the road for them.
Should find
I'm
somebody
not
from that publication that wants to come on.
on that Facebook group.
Sure.
Yeah.
Whatever.
No, we
Somebody
totally
has to
should.
run
Actually,
it.
it would be really cool if we had like Michael on. I'm gonna see if I can find him and
Well, I mean, Minneapolis and St. Paul is probably like the nearest populated area to him because he lives in Wisconsin.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm not sure where in Wisconsin if he lives.
Doesn't
Maybe
matter.
he can bring us some spotted cow.
that would be good.
Yes,
I
that'd
mean,
be great.
I live like 15 minutes away from Spotted Cow. I've
Well,
got
I
those
think-
too, but
I mean, if he lives in like Hudson or something,
that no brainer.
that would be
yeah.
super easy.
Super easy.
So-
even if it was Eau Claire, it's like
that's not that hard.
not a big deal.
I mean, we
River
could.
Falls.
Yeah, if it's like River Falls or something, like we can just like make a day where we
Tucker
have.
could just bring him over.
that or like I could just we have a mixer at home still.
I was
Just
thinking like we
record
could
it
just
there.
put all the podcast stuff in my van and drive down to like Rock Falls Raceway for like a track day or something.
We
and-
could. It kind of
just
sucks,
meet
but
him
it's
there.
doable.
Yeah.
I should get a portable table that's got a provision to set the microphones on. That's kind of the biggest thing.
You just need a sawzall. You're good.
Actually, no, you ain't need.
Reinforce it with like wood.
This
in the
just reinforces my belief that I need a boogie van.
middle. a boogie van.
I need like a Chevy
Oh, dude,
G10.
on the Cannonball.
Can I ring the bell even though it's not
No, you
pre-war?
can't.
No, it's not pre-war. I'm sorry. You could chime it
Oh, the chime.
if you wanted.
This would be Ryan's
On the
van.
we're coming
chime.
back through on the way to Delano, and I found a G20 in like McDonald's colors, but it had like the
No.
A-Team pattern,
Oh,
and it was super clean. It was parked right along the highway for sale. I'm like,
No, if I had like a G10, it would be black. I'd have like a wizard on
yeah,
the
I
side
know.
of
We've
it,
discussed this
and
at
like
length.
maybe some tits somewhere, and
Oh,
like
yeah.
an ethereal goat. And
Ethereal tits.
yeah, it'll be awesome. It'll be really cool. That's what I would do. But no, inside I could like provision it to do the podcast. Put,
Yes,
like
you
shag carpeting on the on like the walls and
And
like
I
a
might-
mirrored roof.
Truth be told, we don't need the stands. We could just bring the mixer and just have these microphones without the stands. So
hold
Yeah.
them like.
otherwise, I
John
could just buy a
Davis.
second set to travel with.
John Davis doesn't hold a microphone.
I know.
He
but
doesn't.
if
He's
you-
way above that.
Ugh.
Actually, I have a couple Audio Technica lapel microphones that would probably work pretty well.
Or we could just have Cody hold a boom.
Or
Or,
just like
not Cody,
again, like,
Corey. Why do I keep
What the
calling Corey
fuck?
Cody? I've
I
done
know.
this. It's like a Freudian
Cody
slip.
sucks. Corey's good.
Yes.
Oh, I know a couple of Codys are all right.
I don't know any Codys that are good.
Cody Appletsime's a nice guy.
I don't know who that is.
Cody Scott's a nice guy.
I don't know who the hell that is.
Think about it, Cody's.
Yeah, there's a lot of Codys.
I think it was
The only Cody I
Cody
know is
Smollett's a
kinda
nice
the-
guy.
Anyway, moving on. So what I
Name
wanted.
dropping Ryan.
God damn it!
Name
Never
drop.
with Ryan. Are you kidding me?
Name dropping nice
Oh
Cody's.
my word!
That will be the title of
All
this
right, I'm moving.
podcast.
No, it won't be. The title of this podcast, which we don't do, by the way, is Patreon special.
Well, the title of this is episode 19.
Yeah, okay, fine. That is exactly what it's gonna be when I upload it. But actually, I don't. We didn't have time to talk about this. I want to quick throw it in before we talk Patreon, just
Yeah.
because we recorded the last episode, and then after the recording, we got intro and outro music
Yes, we did.
from Giant Spirit, Doug Justice.
Yes,
So I just
high
wanna
school
plug
friend of
him.
ours,
Yeah, he's awesome.
Doug Justice. He was like a guitarist impresario. Just-
Dude,
he was really good at guitar.
I would call him
and-
a savant, but he's good at a lot of stuff, so I can't do
No,
that.
he's not. No, he's like he
He's
was
just a very talented individual.
extremely talented guitarist. Anyway, now he makes synthwave music, which is surprisingly actually a natural progression.
I'm
Anyway-
really glad he toned it down.
No, I told him to
Yeah, good.
because I knew how you were
Yes.
about that.
I'm pretty, yeah.
No, so I reached out to him,
I do love it, though.
and I actually reached out to him before we even really started recording this.
Yep. Yeah, I remember that.
And he was like, "Yeah, I'll get to it. It might be a little bit, but I'll get you something."
He's
And
like,
he
oh,
got
take a
us.
look at my website and see you can use anything you want there. But yeah, I'll work on something.
Yeah, exactly.
cool.
And so
I know
he just worked on something and gave us probably the best intro music I've ever heard. It was
yeah,
great.
for a podcast, like I've never heard
Like,
anything
that
better than
is so cool. It's like,
still pretty 80s, but like I can handle it.
that's what I like about it. You know what? Now we have to get an intro like video with like
God.
fake VCR lines, like when you watch a retro review. Be perfect.
I do have Adobe Premiere Pro. I'm sure I could figure out how to do that. But again,
It's effort.
I know. I like to keep the editing time slimmer. So unfortunately, the YouTube version of this won't have the intro outro music. So if you do want to hear it, which you do want to hear, find us on iTunes, find us on SoundCloud, find us on Podcast Addict if you have an Android, and give it a listen. And the outro is just as good as the intro. So.
Yes, it's actually the same song cut in half.
Yeah, it is. It was one clip that I clipped.
In half, because we're not gonna have a 30-second intro for you guys.
Right. Yeah.
All right.
But anyway,
let's jump on Patreon.
Yeah. So the purpose of this episode was to just kind of get. There's a couple of Patreon topics we've gotten that are just too much to cover in one episode, and they don't split out well between multiple episodes. So the purpose of this one is to just go over this one Patreon topic. Basically, I had intended to cover everything from all of our Patreon patrons, but only one of them submitted stuff so far. So yeah, let's do this. I'll prompt with the question, and that is on modifications. What are our thoughts on various parts that can be added to cars, especially with an emphasis on perceptions versus reality? So like, what do people advertise? What does it actually do for the car? And then there's also a track use optionally. So if there's something that is stipulated for off-road use only and actually benefits you, off-road only, work that in too. So the first one I got here is a cold air intake.
I'm a fan of them.
Me too. And I'm not a fan of them because they gain power. Because in a lot of cases, like the cars you and I drive, they spend millions of dollars on R&D researching air boxes.
And Mazda did a terrible job.
Well, some makes they want to keep it quiet, and that does kill power. But like with BMW and stuff like that, they got like weird valves and stuff, and like the air boxes flow better than cold air intakes.
Yeah, that's true.
But like I want them for the sound. Like on a turbo car, you can hear the turbo. On an NA car, you can hear like the intake. You know, the rasp. I love that
rushing noise. Yeah.
I'm like I grant that like most cold air intakes that are sold from a lot of non-reputable companies, even like the eBay stuff, it's like a hot air intake. It's just a metal tube with a filter sitting in your engine bay drawing super hot charge air.
Yeah.
But like I also just don't give a shit.
Yeah, actually, on my Mazda,
Yeah.
I read on one of the forums. I've yet to prove this, so I can't say for sure, but it was somewhere like in the realm of like 20 horsepower that you gain from doing an intake, a header, and an exhaust.
Well, yeah, but how much of that is the intake?
About 9. Like most.
That's pretty
of
good considering
like
the power that the
intake
2.3 has.
That intake is terrible.
Wow.
When we end the episode, I'll go out and show you, but it's very restrictive.
We are seeking sponsorship from InGen or AEM or anyone that makes a cold air intake for a Mazda 5.
Yes.
K&N, yes.
That would be good.
That would be good. I will review it. But no, it basically the intake, it draws in air from in front of the radiator, but does so in like a 1 by 4 inch intake vent, which is like doesn't really cut it.
Yeah, a lot of cars do that.
And even a hot air intake, like putting a filter, like right on the throttle body.
Oh yeah, it's a lot more air, even if it's less dense.
Filter with a little tiny little like
mean.
right angle arm with the mass airflow sensor, and then like the throttle body there.
Yeah.
That is still like a 5 horsepower gain over.
I'm sure it is.
So even a hot air intake,
right?
And actually, hot air intakes, if you
for efficiency, they're great.
As I say, if you have something like a Mirage, and you want
or a Blubsky.
Yeah, well, I think more importantly the Mirage. So if you want something where you're trying to get
or first gen
amazing,
Insight.
Yes,
they deliberately do that.
Yeah, if you want great fuel economy, and you want to make it better, and you want it to sound awesome, hot air intake.
There you go.
Yeah.
It does sound really good with an intake on it.
It does. Kua's sounds amazing.
So our perception of cold air intake: do it for the noise, not for the performance.
It depends on the car.
Okay.
I would say it depends on the car.
So just do it, and then
I'm gonna say
take the benefit. If you get power from it, great.
Every single one of these,
yeah.
I'm gonna say it depends on the car.
That's fine, but okay, let's stipulate though. So like, a reason why you should do it, and then like, or shouldn't.
Yeah.
And then like benefits and potential benefits.
And so,
you're gonna get noise no matter what.
You're gonna get the cool noise. You're gonna get either performance or better fuel economy,
or both.
or both.
You're probably
Um,
not going to make it worse.
Yeah,
No.
it's hard to make it worse.
Yeah.
Like, and Intake's usually a good mod.
If you like noise, it's a good mod.
Yeah. I will say, if you're trying to buy a car and make some money on it,
Yeah.
don't do any of this.
No, God, no. You would never get your money back on any
You
of this
never
shit.
will. That was me. I'm sorry.
That's all right. All right, cold air intake. We settled that one up. I think that's pretty good. Catback exhaust. Now, I don't know if we should group axleback exhaust into this as well, because it depends. A lot
Ah.
of modern cars have cats in the exhaust manifolds. So
You know what I'm gonna
technically, catback's a full system.
I'm gonna say axleback. Don't waste your money.
Oh, it depends on the car.
No.
Oh, shit, I'm you now.
What
Depends
car?
on the car.
What car on earth?
Mr. Wags, the only
Benefits-
thing you can do is an axleback. Otherwise, it gets way too boomy. Anything where you have a muffler close to the enclosed space of the car, not a trunk, but like a hatch or a
There's what
wagon,
you
can
can
make
fix
it
that.
a little bit louder while still not having drone and maybe picking up a little horsepower. You're not going to gain horsepower from an axleback.
Resonator and sound deadening.
Yeah, but I don't want to add weight to my car.
A resonator, you replace the catalytic converter with it because what you're getting, that droning,
Yeah.
a resonator basically just changes
Right.
the tone
Right.
to not have it
Yeah, it
resonate
cuts
at
the
the
amplitude.
it doesn't resonate at the frequency of the body of the car.
Right.
So, yeah, I think catback exhaust I would always do that over an axleback. I mean,
I would do these on a track car. I would tend to never do a catback on a daily driver.
on my Mazda, I'm absolutely doing a catback. Every single Honda I've ever had, we always do a catback because the
I
Honda.
remember
factory
riding in
exhausts are
Boris with
terrible.
that twin loop, and I pretty much went deaf. inside
Yeah,
of
that
car.
was-
But it had a gutted interior and
It
it
was
was a loud muffler.
completely gutted. I did that deliberately because I was trying to make my car more obnoxious than Jimmy Demos's.
And so I've heard. he
Oh, I
doesn't-
love that
he didn't
ES.
like
That thing was
giving
cool.
rides, so that's also why. He
Yeah,
made
that
it
was the other
super
thing.
loud.
I always had because we were in high school, I always had other kids that I'd hang out with that are trying to cock block me when I'm trying to mac on
No way.
girls because I did that chronically in high school.
No way.
Yeah, so it was
What's up,
it
lady?
was
Check
it
out
was,
my Duesenberg.
it was partially so I wouldn't have oblivious thank you so I didn't have oblivious teenagers try to cock block me,
right.
but also because it did save weight. I mean, at the end of the day, spending a total I think $300 on that car, I did cut a second off my quarter mile time, which is kind of cool.
Yep. I'm driving the automatic like a manual. not
Yeah,
blowing it
well,
up.
that's because the valve body was shot.
That happened
but-
on my Accord too.
no way.
Honda automatic transmissions are terrible.
Drive them like manuals. The only way. You
I
can.
drove the ES330 back down here after tint like a manual. It's way better.
Oh yeah.
So the another car I'd recommend catbacks on.
Yeah.
It's really just about any really old car. If you're not,
Do you have
if
an
you're
example or
Datsun 510, Subaru GL10,
okay.
EF Civic,
Exhaust systems were pretty shite back in the day.
E30s even,
Yeah.
190s.
Catback, yeah, on an E30 I
Yeah.
agree because the cat is in the middle of the car and they're thick.
Yeah, and then even something like a Tercel, greatly
Who the
benefits
hell makes a catback for a turd cell?
eBay.
Okay.
Actually, they did have a dual overhead cam
Megane
version.
Racing.
They had a dual overhead cam version.
They had a
in
4
Puerto Rico.
FTE here. They had a twin cam turbo Tercel here.
Fuck off. Really?
Yeah, the 4
That's-
FTE.
That's
Guess
amazing.
I need
Super cool.
one.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
really rad.
Oh.
No, in Puerto Rico, the '90s ones, they had
What part of Mexico is that?
That's the part that America owns. But no, they had a they had a twin cam version, which is kind of cool. Cat deletes.
No, downpipe first.
Oh, sorry, downpipe. Yeah.
Downpipe, yes.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, 100%. Just do it.
Have you
Every
seen
car.
the factory downpipe for my GL10?
Yeah, actually, I have.
That was the worst one. For people who have not seen it, it
Isn't
was
that
literally
technically an up pipe on a Subaru, though?
no. The up pipe goes from the exhaust manifold up to the turbo.
That's
and
the
then
one I've seen.
Then the downpipe. Goes,
I haven't seen the downpipe.
Oh.
Okay, the downpipe goes down from. No, you saw the downpipe.
Maybe I did. It's probably been a long
Devo
time.
fabbed our new downpipe.
Well,
Yeah,
I saw
that's the one
the
you
last
saw.
stuff I saw was when it
Yeah.
was getting the exhaust on a map. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that was the downpipe. That was not the up
Okay,
pipe. It's
alright.
because the up pipe on my particular car is integrated with the exhaust
Well,
manifold.
fun. Yeah, I definitely saw the downpipe then. It was modular. So
Yeah.
He
So-
did a really good job on that.
Yeah.
He did.
That was
It's
gorgeous.
beautiful. It's going on our wall once we take it off.
Why are you taking it off? Oh, you're right. NA.
Yeah.
Because I'm going
Yep,
NA with
yep,
carburetors.
no, yep.
'cause
I
makes
remember
no
now.
difference.
Hot air intake, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, yeah, cat delete.
Get rid of that potato that they call a turbo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cat delete, yes.
Yeah, I would
Unless
say.
it's the meowing kind.
Oh no, yeah, get more
Get more
cats.
meow.
Get few catalytic converters.
Yes.
And then
kick those into the street.
High flow cats is also in here, but I would say high flow cats, yes, if you're in emission state.
Yes.
Cat
absolutely.
delete, yes,
Yeah.
if you're not.
Yeah.
Although we
We're
can't officially
very-
recommend that because it's a federal offense to take.
I would say
emissions
now
devices
if
out
you're
of the car.
using your car for
Off-road
off-road
use
use only. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yeah, exactly.
Cat
You can
delete.
only do it on tracks. Yeah, just deal with the check engine light. Nobody cares.
I was very lucky, and my car cat deleted itself by rusting the entire exhaust system off.
Oh.
So
My red M3 did that too, but everything is still perfectly intact on the outside. I just bottomed out the center of the car too many times, so the cat started spitting its guts out the tailpipe.
I would say when you're doing a cat delete versus high flow cats,
Yeah.
they make check engine light
The anti
fixers.
Oh, those two. You're talking
Yeah.
about the foolers?
The foolers where
Actually, like
it
electronic.
makes a little no, it makes a basically you plug in your O2 sensor like you normally would,
Yeah.
but you it's basically like a right angle, like
Oh, yeah.
mini tube
Yep,
that then
I've
has
seen
like a
those.
little bung on
Yep.
at the end of it.
And they actually have ones of those now that have a tiny piece of like catalyst material inside of them too,
Yeah,
which is interesting. I don't think those would get hot enough to do their job. I think it's a gimmick, but like the
it's
anti-foulers
still-
work
yeah.
really well. Like I did those on the 911 when we did the X-Pipe cat
yeah,
delete.
they work great. So
And I think I really-
you require that if you're doing a cat delete.
For sure.
With my Civic,
yeah.
I did a cat delete on that,
Yeah.
but that car also the catalytic converters after the second O2 sensor. So
I was gonna say pre-96
sorry.
cars.
no,
The
it's right before it, but I mean like it makes no difference.
pre-96 cars, you won't typically get a check engine light with a cat delete because they don't monitor the catalyst efficiency at all.
No, it was entirely
It's
to
all for lambda.
it was entirely to make sure that the exhaust is actually getting out of its own path, and if the catalytic converter is plugged, it'll then change the parameters for that.
Right.
So I actually mine I just plugged the bung
On which car?
on my Civic. I plugged the bung with a broken O2 sensor
Oh, yeah.
that had the wire cut on it and just stuck it in there.
I've done that. I even have like a good number of bung plugs in my toolbox usually, but like I ran out. And I'm like, well, I got tons of O2s I'll never use. Yep. I'm like, these will rust in place in no time.
Non-turbo ECU tuning.
I'm tempted to say no.
No, it's worth it.
It depends on the car.
Yeah, if
On a
it,
BMW
if
and a
it's-
Porsche where they're at a maximum state of tune from the factory, don't waste your money.
Yeah, but I mean, like if you're doing something like a Civic,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
something like that,
They've figured out.
it's
Honda, yeah,
massive.
absolutely.
You can get like almost as much power from just doing a tune
Mhm.
as you would get from doing intake header and exhaust.
I believe you.
But older cars are really the key.
Absolutely. I think
It's
that's
older
the
cars.
case.
Yeah,
older, less
cars.
sophisticated computer cars.
Anything pre OBD2B, I
Yeah,
think.
I think you're right. Yep.
Because even like K series, you can get some power out of them from doing ECU tune with like
Well, I
a
mean,
hot
those-
data chip.
Anything that's designed to run on like ass gas 87, you can usually get
That's
some
a
pretty
good point
yeah.
to make.
If it's designed to run on premium fuel, just don't waste your money.
Well, even then, if you look at what the dyno graphs look like from
Yeah.
like on factory, they look terrible.
Oh,
'cause
yeah.
they're very detailed.
And again, we'll come back to it depends
Yeah.
on the car because like
yeah,
Subaru
well, I mean, yeah, Subarus
writes their tunes like a fucking crayon with a 2-year-old behind
they
the
are the
wheel.
worst.
It's
tunes,
bad. Those things just ride the knock sensors and they pop ringlands. And it's
Yeah,
bad.
they're bad in factory tunes.
Okay.
Turbo cars definitely worth
Oh,
it.
100%. If you have a turbo car and you don't have a tune, you're doing it wrong.
Yes.
Supercharger, same thing. Get a pulley too, maybe, but like even like the 3.0 supercharged Audi engine, like you can tune them quite a bit just with software
Yeah, that's
with the factory pulley.
Otherwise, your turbo's just a potato.
Right. Oh, sorry, I have that down because you're chip bagging. Turbo's just a potato, is what Jana said.
no, it's one of those things like that's where at stage 1, 2, 3, whatever comes from. Like because there are some things you do together: intake, header, exhaust,
Right.
like quickie tune,
supporting mods, for sure.
supporting mods. Like that's where it comes
I
from.
mean, with turbo cars, you get the compounds and the stuff we already talked about, like a downpipe, huge for turbo cars. Cat delete, kind of the same thing. Yeah, the tune's definitely the big one though for force deduction. Let's go next to wheels.
So depends on the car.
I don't think so. I think always yes.
I'll give you an example.
Okay.
Roto wheels on a STI that factory had BBSs.
Oh, okay.
See what I mean?
Yeah, the BBSs are probably lighter and better made.
They're lighter and better made, but they don't look as fancy.
Okay. I'll say Yes, as long as your wheel and tire setup is lighter than your original.
If you're making an improvement.
Yeah.
Which
not
is
just
lighter.
throwing on.
I mean,
like-
also better rubber, but
Yeah, but I mean that's tires. That's the next one.
you should throw on some Sumitomo.
HCR ASP02s.
There you go. Boom. Put those
like-
on the factory BBSs and
There was a show we were watching that they always like to like rehab cars, and they always take beautiful stock wheels, throw them off, and put on like fake wheels, and we're like,
Yeah,
what
it's called
the
Wheeler
fuck?
Dealers.
Yeah.
That's why Ed China quit because Mike's an idiot.
we got these cracking new rims.
We got
Yeah.
this cracking new ribs
He's
brought
gonna
to us
love
by
it.
our
What
friends
was
at
it?
Rhoda.
What was it that had like the
Asante.
coolest stock wheels on it that were actually a really rare factory option, and they just
Been to them.
Yeah.
I think that was when they did the Ford Escort Cosworth.
yeah.
Oh,
Like that
God.
factory optional
Oh,
wheels.
no.
They got some like fake OZ rally reproductions. It was just terrible.
It was I cried inside.
All
But
right,
anywho,
tires.
Oh, 100%
Yeah,
yes.
always.
Yeah. Yes, 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 yes.
Well, we've already talked about that.
yeah,
Like,
no factory car comes with a good enough tire where we shouldn't upgrade it.
Yes. We do not.
Upgraded turbos. I'm gonna say no.
It's-
Unless you're doing.
What are you trying to do?
That's the thing. I mean, for dated, like I'm just assuming we're talking like regular people cars here. I mean, like the factory capability of pretty much not every turbo, but pretty much every turbo is like substantially more than how they're sold.
yeah.
Yes.
mean-
If you're doing it for a daily driver, no.
Right. Track
Um,
car, maybe, but that's
If
not
you're
much
if you're
heat.
trying to do a track car, if you're trying to do a drag car, absolutely.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Yeah. If you're doing something where you need the straight line.
One car, I will recommend everything. Like as far as turbos go,
Yeah.
older Subaru platforms.
Oh, you should do that just for
Like
spooling
not
reasons.
not just like the EA82, but even earlier legacies. Like
Yeah.
a modern legacy turbo, even
Yeah.
at the same boost level and
Yeah,
everything,
much more efficient.
you can get much more efficient. You're not gonna have.
It's gonna spool a ton
It's
faster.
gonna spool way faster, and it's actually be more reliable.
Okay,
So,
yeah, that's true. I mean, the topic doesn't say bigger, it just says upgraded. So
Upgraded,
in
yeah.
that case, I'd say yeah, do upgrades.
And it is a slightly bigger turbo, but
Well, still, but it doesn't
it's-
matter.
Yeah,
I mean,
it doesn't really matter.
it's probably got a better sized exhaust side and this and that. So
But yeah, no, upgrade turbos. I'm a fan of.
okay, I want to
Um,
do this next one.
Yes. What's the next one?
Quote unquote built
Okay.
internals.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah,
if
no,
you have the
I'm-
money, go for it. I mean, there's no downside to building internals. It's
No,
just
'cause-
cost.
well, most cars just have like cheap like I know like the Hyundai Genesis, like that 2OT
So
Genesis.
it's made out of Play-Doh inside, or what?
Yeah, basically,
Okay.
it had like just the worst just cast parts.
So I was gonna say like the
And then-
E46 M3. I'm like the stock bottom end, and those can take like 800 horsepower.
Yeah, the stock Hyundai Genesis is like all cast and just like
Oh.
very poor quality.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. If you have
So-
cast internals, upgrade them.
Yes. Or in the case of going back to Honda, because I know the internals on these very well.
Yeah.
If you have a D series and it's burning oil, and you have the capability using just factory parts, you can make more power. You can get,
No way.
let's say, you have like 91 Civic Si,
Mm-hmm.
like I have.
I wish.
You can use a rotating assembly out of the 1.7 liter 2001 through 2003 EM2
Didn't have a
generation.
horrible cylinder head, but it was a great bottom end.
A fantastic bottom end, yeah.
Yeah.
Also had coil and plug
Really?
valve covers, yeah.
On a
So-
D series.
Yeah,
I've
I know,
never
right?
Seen that.
Yes, that is the only D series I have coil and plug. So
D17, you said?
yeah, D17. But yeah, coil and plug. So you can get the 1.7
Super cool.
liter bottom end. You have to notch the bottom of your cylinders, and you can run that. If you're if you want higher compression ratio pistons, you can get either a ZC or a first generation Integra set of pistons. See?
Wow, that's
Coil and plug.
super cool.
Yeah.
That's not the right picture.
Nope.
There
That
we
one
go.
is so.
Wow. Are those
Yeah.
valve covers popular?
They're if you're doing a coil and plug on a D series, yes.
That would be awesome, man. You
But-
can get rid of that problematic distributor.
It's problematic, but the thing is, like, if you're going for power, that
Yeah.
distributor makes about as much power, like,
guess.
until you're
The spark
north
probably won't go out.
of,
on
until
that.
you're north of like 450 horsepower, which is insane on a D series. You're okay with the distributor.
Alright.
But yeah, no, that's I considered doing that on my Civic, but it just
I
it
think
was
it looks cool
it was yeah, it looks really awesome, but it was a lot of effort for very little gain.
for sure. Oh
So-
yeah, I can't imagine any realistic power gain. And the
Well, I mean,
electronic distributors are
because
figured
I'm running
out.
mine in a
Right.
So if it was turbo, totally. But
I mean, you're eliminating a tiny bit of mechanical drag, but
you literally don't notice it on
no,
dyno.
I'm sure not. You'd never notice that. Headwork.
But no, you can run in first generation D16A1, I think is what it's called. Pistons or ZC pistons, which will give you 11 to 1 or 12.5 to 1 compression ratio. Yeah, with factory parts.
And it like clears the head and all that?
Yeah, perfectly. So you can run that. You can run, say you do a VTEC cylinder head swap, you can run a ZC or a Y8 cylinder head. Depending on what you're trying to do, the factory white head will give you more power, but the ZC is more power.
Which D head flows the best?
I think the white flows a little bit better from the factory, but the ZC, or not the ZC, the Z6 cylinder head, you can do more with it.
I've definitely seen like Z6 written out before.
Yeah, Z6 is super common. I have a white cylinder head on my Civic.
Very nice.
Just because I came across one for very little money. And
that appeals to you.
Yeah, and I intended on doing a full rebuild with like all custom parts. So yeah, I went to Y8. It worked fine.
Excellent.
You can do all that with just factory parts, and that will give you the coolest like 140 horsepower single cam you've ever seen in your life. But I mean, like on an engine that made you doing
like factory part upgrades.
Just factory part upgrades, and you're running on an engine that originally made 100 horsepower.
Yeah.
Gaining 40% power without using aftermarket parts.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
And you can do it for probably not that much money.
No, that kind of build is, I mean, if you have a shop put it together, it's like a $2,000 build. And that's with like 90% labor cost.
Jesus. Yeah,
So
I'm inclined
if you
to
do
believe
it,
that.
if you do it yourself, you can do that for $300.
D17 costs nothing.
Yeah, literally nothing.
Nothing.
If you have the ability to do it and you have a full machine shop to your capabilities, you can get that for probably $300 for the parts, and then probably $500 for a good engine. So
all right then.
$800 for a hilarious engine. That's
and
great.
Really, any schmo could do it too, because you're not taking the bottom end apart.
You are to do the pistons and
I suppose.
but I mean, like if you're
Pretty
clever,
basic,
if
though.
you're clever, I mean, Charlie Maw has been able to do that in his garage. So he's got a garage and he can do that sort of stuff. So if he can, you can too. I don't recommend you do that. Throttle body.
Throttle body? No. There's one above it, I think.
Yeah.
Headwork. Yes, headwork.
Yeah, absolutely. Do headwork.
Some cars feel better. As I spoke about Hondas, doing headwork while you're doing all that bottom end stuff is totally worth it. So headwork definitely
For
matters.
sure, 100%. It's like the cheapest way to get. Well, not the cheapest at all, but like the most effective way to get like consistently more power across.
Well,
the
look
board.
at like small block Chevys, like on Engine Masters, where they did like a port and polished iron block cylinder or iron cylinder head. Like they gained like 50 horsepower.
I remember Engine Masters.
Yeah.
That Motor Trend on a Man show. They did like homebrew porting on a set of small block aluminum
Yeah,
heads, and they gained like 75
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
horsepower.
Like 50 to like 75 is just insane. So yeah, headwork definitely matters.
Just with like a Dremel and like a couple hours, and like just port matching the gaskets basically is all he did.
Yeah, and that's with my Cressida. That's something
Don't you
I've.
just have to tighten down bolts to make
Well,
that better?
that's not headwork though. We're talking about port and polishing the cylinder head. On the Cressida, the ports are just terrible. Like, so
I believe that in the 7M.
Yeah,
There's
the
probably a
7M.
lot of room for improvement.
Oh god, the ports are like sandpaper, and they're really awkwardly shaped. So headwork does definitely matter. Throttle body. Most cars, I don't think you need to do that, but there's some where throttle body can help. I know Mustangs benefit from them.
Yeah, I would say on a forced induction engine, no bother. But NA, sure.
I think
It depends. It depends. If it's a bottleneck for your intake system, then
yeah,
sure,
if it's a
do it,
bottleneck.
but a lot of the
don't
times it's not.
Mercedes? They have terribly small throttle bodies. Right?
Yeah, they do. A lot of Toyotas have ones, but like things like the 3.3 and the Lexus has like a 4-inch throttle body. And it's huge.
And then there's the God, what is it?
But if it's stuff with like individual throttle bodies,
the
that matters
F22,
less.
the Accord engine.
Yeah.
Throttle bodies are huge when you're doing a turbo setup, and since you can run a DSM turbo manifold on that,
Right.
like that is a huge
I
improvement.
love all the things that a DSM manifold just somehow fits.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the DSM exists solely as a parts car. Like this is
It's
the
just
best
like an
parts car
E36.
of all time.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's a parts car for an E30.
So I want to group the next three that are
Okay.
on this list.
I
into
think that's a
just,
good
like,
idea. Yeah.
Cheap, shitty eBay parts.
Yep. So eBay parts that quote you with an asterisk, a power gain.
Yeah.
So we're talking about those little
The
chip
Cyclone,
things that like plug
the
into your
Tornado,
positive and
the
yeah.
power adding modules. None of those.
Nope.
Don't even matter.
None of them work. The magnets on your
Muddy
fuel
Car
lines.
Mods did the.
They did. They bought
did
a whole
one,
bunch of them.
and they like they found like what kind of chip was in their performance chip that you plug into your OBD2 reader. And
Yep.
It was from like a Czechoslovakian microwave, and like literally
That's
did nothing.
amazing.
It literally did
Oh my
nothing.
God.
Well, there was a channel I was looking at. They dissected one, and they literally like pulled it apart, and it had like a printed circuit board in it with chips on it, and they traced everything, and it was like a microcontroller, and the only two pins plugged into it were power in, positive and negative, and then an LED power out. So it like flashed at different rates with like voltage changes and stuff like that.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, so they do not do that. If it was possible, manufacturers would have already done it.
Yeah, exactly.
And then next one, aftermarket
Yes,
supercharger or turbo.
yes,
We already
yes.
kind of
Yeah,
covered that
100%,
with turbo,
yes.
but
Absolutely, yes.
yeah, if you got something with
Well,
a
I
root
think they mean
supercharger-
like putting like a supercharger or a turbo on a car.
On an NA
otherwise
car.
Yes, totally worth it.
Yeah, that goes along with the internal upgrades a lot of the time, but yes.
As I
It's
said
fun.
with the Accord,
Yeah.
the F22 single
And like
ham
the
engine.
M20. Yeah, they're
Yeah,
just like set up like lower-ish compression ratios,
Yeah,
and
like,
they just you bolt it on and you're good.
Iron cylinders, and then weird, this exhaust manifold just bolts right on. I have to remove one exhaust stud, and everything just bolts up directly, and it doesn't leak at all.
Weird.
That's so strange. And now my 140 horsepower 2.2 liter now makes like 280 on 87 octane gasoline
Yeah,
using
buddy.
every stock part in the world.
Knock
That's
sensors,
so
what
weird.
are those?
Well, I mean, it doesn't even
No,
they won't
doesn't
knock.
really
Yeah,
matter.
it's just
And
amazing.
F22s can handle a
So
lot.
yeah,
so.
those are absolutely worth it. I'm a big fan. I love NA builds, but superchargers and turbos, I mean,
Power adders are great.
they're great. And I like NA just because of the noise. I know it's
Yeah, for sure.
it's worse in every way, but it's cool.
Yeah, kinda.
It's cooler. It's like having a carburetor. Like that's kind of cool to see that, but it is definitely just terrible. But anyway,
Okay. Nitrous,
nitrous oxide.
wet and dry.
Yeah.
So wet system, yeah. If you're doing like drag racing, absolutely just put it on there. Why not? You can use that to cool the charge of a forced induction system, which helps detonation and a lot of stuff like that, and controlling it.
You can actually build a lot of power if you actually build
you
your.
can,
The thing is, you have to build
yeah.
an engine for nitrous.
You pretty much do. You got to file down your rings unless it's a well-worn engine. Then those seem to take nitrous really well. But like
Yeah.
a dry system, especially with EFI, don't do it. Because you're just putting way more oxygen into the system. You're going to lean it out like crazy. You're going to butt rings. You're going to lift ring lands. The ECU is going to freak out unless you've got a controller that can ease it in and the car has undersized injectors to start
Again,
with.
building and tuning a car for
Right.
using
So
it.
I would recommend against a dry system
Unless you're trying to have a hilarious rental car.
Oh.
hilarious rental car, or you bought a beater and you want to blow it up and have a lot of fun in the process.
Yep, exactly.
Perfect.
All right, limited slip differential, yes.
Yeah, 100%.
All right,
Yep.
continuing
Moving on. Yep. Brake pads and rotors, 100% yes.
Yep.
Cheapest, best thing you can do to a car is good brake pads.
Yeah,
That and tires.
I would say that's cheaper than tires. So
Yeah, it is. Like a good set of Hawks is like $250 for the set of 4. And that's,
Or
I mean, HPSs are decent for the street.
Even like a ceramic Akabono pad.
Those are just terrible.
Well, I mean those are better than a lot of factory
Ugh.
cars are.
I disagree
I put on
with you
a
that.
van and they're better.
I don't like those pads personally. Anyway, short shifter.
That one's
I've driven some really good ones and I've driven some really terrible ones.
they usually feel like shit. Not gonna lie.
The ones in the BMWs that with the factory part short shifters, yes. Aftermarket, nah.
Actually, one that I actually did enjoy once. I drove a Civic that had a shift extender on it.
Oh yeah, I've seen those.
So the shifter is like literally right next to where your hand is.
Yep.
But the pivot point was changed.
Yep.
So even though it's a shift extender,
Yeah.
it's a short shifter.
Yep.
And it's just like, boom.
Those are kind of cool how they work. They sell those for the 500.
Yeah, that's actually really cool. I would
It's like,
totally
it's
get
like
that.
$30 too, so it's like really
Worth it,
appealing for
yeah.
that. But like, yeah, no.
But no, short shifters, if you're just cutting the rod, or if you have to like bury your hand like into your center console to
Well, I'm not
shift.
talking about shortening the shift lever necessarily. I'm talking about like the distance between gears
Yeah.
and the H.
No, that's I mean like it. There's because of most of the time when you do that, you're changing a pivot point, you're lowering the shifter.
Right. Yeah,
So
it
you
usually
don't have
does
to move
both.
as much.
Yeah.
I've driven a lot. This is super common on Subarus and Audis. And if you do this, you should be ashamed of yourself. But like they put the shifter basically in the center console.
Yeah, I've seen that. My
And
first
so you
MR2
have to,
was
you have
like
to go
that.
like
You're like smacking your fingers
Yeah.
on like the surround where the boot goes into
Yeah,
the car.
it's just
Like this is
stupid.
terrible.
Yeah, no, it's not fun. It's not fun at all.
But bushings on the shifter cages. If you have a cable shift car, 100%
Oh
do that.
God,
Yeah.
or
100%.
like a just a linkage like on a Honda.
Yeah.
Massive
Anywhere
improvement.
you can take slop out of a shift linkage, do it.
I had rubber bushings in my CRX, replaced them with polyurethane.
Yeah.
Felt way better.
Oh yeah. I
Um,
did like billet ones on my last third.
I was
gen
gonna say
MR2.
on my Civic, I actually do have a poly kit that I'm gonna probably get rid of,
Nice.
and I'm gonna put in just spherical bushings
Yeah, I
because
felt
these are
the
so much better.
bushings from the CRX. I felt the old ones and the new ones, and
Yeah.
like I swear to God, you can throw the old ones and like take out someone's eye. Like, they were so rough and so hard.
Well,
and
no, the new ones are. The
Oh,
old
yeah,
ones.
the
are
old
just
ones I'm
super
sure were
soft.
jelly beans.
That's what you're thinking of. Yeah, the old
Yeah.
ones are jelly beans.
New ones are good.
Shift
Knobs.
canobs, shift canobs.
And a BMW, 100%. Yeah. Porsche, yes.
Yeah, it depends.
Honda, no. They have really good shift knobs in Hondas.
Their factory one's really nice. If you're getting like a Mugen duraluminum, yes, and that's about the only one I can
Okay.
think of.
Those get really hot in the sun.
oh yeah, that's why
You
you,
just
get
screw
a
'em off and you
collapsible
put 'em-
koozie.
Yeah, or you put a,
Oh, that's smart.
yeah.
yeah,
we,
if you-
we
if
got
you
one at Pride a
remember.
few years ago, and
Nice.
I would always slap one onto it. It was perfect. It was just the
It was like a
best.
That's
snap
a really-
bracelet, but a koozie.
That's a really clever
and
idea, actually.
like it kept it warm in the winter, and
Nice.
it kept it cool in the summer.
Also, weighted stone shift knobs
Oh,
feel great
Oh, weighted anything shift knob, yeah.
because Chase had one in his
Milling
Civic for a-
stone must be tough.
It must be. But Andrew Chase had one that's identical to a factory Honda shift knob, but it was literally made of granite.
That is really cool.
It was
That's
really,
probably really hard on the shift forks and all that, but I
Oh, it
don't
has to
really
be
care.
horrible. But no, that was probably the best shifting shift knob I ever felt in my life. And I also aesthetically like the wood shift knobs I can get.
Depends on the car for me, but yeah, I do too.
When
if
a
it's
guy,
period correct, like my BMW 1600 has a natural wood shift knob. It's awesome.
actually one of the guys I do D&D with,
Oh my God.
he's got a Nismo 350Z, and he's got a bamboo shift knob in it, and it's actually really cool. But
Yeah, no, that sounds pretty cool. Like an exotic wood like Zebrano or something. would be
yeah,
really
like
cool.
exotic wood, not like your normal
Something
like this
endangered.
boob wood.
It's
like-
fine. This is barn wood.
Yeah, I
It's
don't care.
utilitarian as hell. So
Yeah, I don't want to get splinters.
look at the next one.
Aluminum wing functional versus non-functional.
Especially with the advent of like the big ones that people stick on the back of Subarus and Miatas. I'm just gonna say no.
No.
You can do aero other ways that aren't offensive looking.
If
Yeah.
Unless
well,
it's a
you
race
go
car.
to naritadogfight.com, that is about Japanese time
Oh.
attack culture.
I don't want to.
These are the only giant wings I'm okay with if you go onto that website.
Alright,
'Cause
how do you spell it? I'll go on there.
Narita, Narita, dogfight, dogfight.com. Give it a minute.
Now we're looking for sponsorships. No,
Yeah,
I'm
no,
kidding.
right? So these are cars with like crazy arrow,
Yeah.
but these are also cars where this crazy arrow
Oh, you need
has-
it. The chassis aren't set up on these.
Yeah, but I mean, like these are cars where Crazy Arrow has cut the fastest lap time
Yeah.
for a privateered car down from over a minute at Tsukuba to 50 seconds in the last 10
Yeah.
years, and they're making the same amount of power.
This just
So-
reminds me of like 90s Pikes Peak cars. And
That's basically
that
what they
makes
are.
me kind of randy. Yep.
Yeah, so like that kind of wing, if you're doing it for a track car,
Yep.
100% okay with it.
Yeah.
But
Street
when I-
car?
Yeah,
No.
if I'm seeing like
No.
if I see your
Just reduces your
Hyundai
fuel
Genesis with a wide like a Rocket Bunny wide body kit and some like 20 by 10-inch wheels with 225 tires on it, yeah, that doesn't look cool. That looks
No.
stupid.
You
Yeah,
should be ashamed of yourself.
you should be. NACA ducts
NACA ducts.
in the windows.
Fuck anywhere. Just no, unless you need them.
If it's in like a like the
Yeah, if it's
this-
in a
the
race car,
back
fine. If it's in a
window,
street
like in
car,
a race
no.
car, yeah. If it's a
If it's
yeah,
to
I
cool
keep
your
those.
SWAS, sure. If it's to cool your brakes, awesome, fine, whatever. Otherwise, just skip it.
Oh
Sway
my-
bars, yes.
Sway bars, yes, they're great. I'm getting some from a Mazda 5. First mod I'm gonna actually do to it.
It's like it's like the best thing I can think of if you want to keep a car dailyable and still make it handle better.
Yeah, we put
Aside
a
from
sway
tires.
bar on the CRX and it changed the handling significantly.
It's incredible. And it can also help you with if you have a car that has an understeer oversteer tendency, you
Yeah.
can swap like AP1 S2000 Porsche 911. Like you can really cure a lot of that with an adjustable sway bar,
Yeah.
or even a fixed sway bar.
Like when
Yeah.
I first saw it, I was like, "This isn't gonna do anything to the car. This is hilarious, Ryan. Whatever." And then he's like, "Drive it," and I did, and I was like, "What? What the fuck?
Yeah, they're incredible.
Like, this is
It's like
witchcraft.
a wizard
black
bar.
magic.
Yeah.
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 No, it was,
It's basically
when
a
I
wand.
when I had just the front end
Yeah.
and not the rear sway bar,
Yeah.
the car when it lets go will suddenly
snap
understeer.
oversteer?
Yeah.
Oh.
No, it will understeer if it's in the front. But when we put the rear in conjunction with the front,
Yeah.
you gain like 2 miles an hour entry speed and exit speed on cloverleafs, which is huge.
Yes.
My entry and exit speeds are just fine, thank you.
But I want to make them higher.
I know, that's a joke. Upgraded shocks and struts.
Yes.
Yep,
Yes.
100%.
Shocks, springs, you do them together. Yes. Doing lowering springs on stock shocks, usually a bad idea unless you're doing it for
You're
aesthetics.
getting ahead of yourself.
If you're, I know, but I don't want this to
No,
take.
but-
This is taking enough time as it is.
Yeah,
Um,
but I mean, it's still worth mentioning. I mean, yeah, I think like some of the best things you can do on a lot of cars are like get a good set of conies
Yeah.
yes.
and some lowering springs
And that's
from a
it.
name
That's
brand.
exactly what I mean. Like, if you do them
That's-
together.
Do that. Don't buy coilovers.
I'm a fan of
Unless you get
coilovers.
like really nice coilovers.
If you're getting I'd get coilovers over lowering springs for the sole purpose that I can adjust them. I'm not stuck at that ride height.
You can do it
So-
like once, and then Minnesota takes over. It's like, haha,
Yeah.
suck it, bitch.
Well, no, I mean if you do them, if you raise it up in
I-
winter and lower it back in spring,
I like coilovers when I can't find a suitable lowering.
the lowering spring. Well, I like coilovers
Like
because
a
they're made to
suitable
work
height.
together.
Yeah,
They're
they
made to
are.
work together, and that's what's really huge to me.
But that's the case on a
Um,
lot of shocks too.
Yeah, but I mean like that's not every single one.
No, not
But I
every.
mean like this is like one where the whole kit's made together.
right.
And of course, I'm talking more like K&W or
KWs and Mutons
or
and
yeah, or
Olins and-
BC Racing.
or Penske's.
Yeah, like not
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 BCs.
no
BCs are kind of cheapy.
no, they're pretty good. They're cheap.
Yeah, but they're not like
they're good quality for how cheap they are.
they're a mid-range coilover. They're
Yeah,
fine.
and
yeah.
but the thing
Good,
is like
yeah.
even that is like that handles really well.
Well, it's not a max speeding rod or anything.
No, or as I say, Racelands are.
Oh God, no.
Actually-
No, I've got FKs and Mr. Wags, and I like those. But
There's one car that I do have to say Racelands are okay for.
Mark
The
IV?
my CRX.
Yeah.
oh, okay.
Because that
Are they like $13?
no, they're like $300.
Oh,
Yeah.
Which for all four. But the thing is, actually, it made the car handle significantly better in autocross.
I think that makes sense because I think where those shocks really fail on like Raceland
Yeah.
is they're usually really small and they can't really handle a lot of mass
Yeah.
to
It's-
control.
They're very oversprung.
Oh, I believe that.
And
Cheap
actually,
coilovers usually are.
Actually, that it got to a point where my tailgate wouldn't close properly because of
Yeah.
chassis flex from how stiff the coilovers were.
Yeah.
Oh, it sounds like my 2002 where it's on the lift right now. I can't close the passenger door.
Yeah, exactly. And then like I would.
Yay, 1,800-pound cars.
I raised the coilovers up like an inch,
Yeah.
and then suddenly so like the strut wasn't always bottomed out, and then suddenly my tailgate would close in the first try. It was weird. I don't know. So
oh, I love light cars.
yeah,
They're so quirky.
yeah, coilovers. All
I'll
this
say yeah.
quality matters.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And
Quality.
to be honest, that goes
Spend more than $600 on your set of coilovers. And you should be
that
fine.
that goes for every single thing on this.
Yep.
If
Yeah.
you're like all the way down to
Oh yeah, even
the
like lowering
wings
springs and
or
shocks. Like yeah,
the
don't
shift
don't
knob.
put Monroe Maddox and eBay springs in your car. Don't put Racelands necessarily in your car.
yeah.
Unless you don't care about it.
You
Yeah.
there's some very rare instances where Raceland's okay.
Right.
Like
you just
even your
discovered.
shift knob. Like
Right.
The only cheap
Don't-
mod I'm okay with are like energy steering wheels.
in RG
Yeah.
NRG.
brand
Yeah.
steering
Yeah.
wheels, and even then it's like
Even then, that's like just.
I'd rather spend my money on brake pads than a steering wheel.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
this
cheaper
is
insurance.
yeah
I
cheap.
guess.
Yeah, but it's
I hate
actually I
airbag lights.
No, I found out if you have a car that does not have airbags in it, and putting in an energy steering wheel with a removable hub is technically anti-theft device and will drop your insurance.
Yeah, it dropped our insurance by like $50.
I don't think I own a single car that doesn't have an anti-theft device built into it.
But well, I mean, it's an additional one.
I
It's
mean,
a
this is
modifier.
an
like,
88 Accord coupe, so
Doesn't have an anti-theft device? Yeah, the steering wheel comes off.
yeah,
Yep,
I
that-
carry it around
that
in my
was it. I
backpack.
was said,
Ghost
we,
ride
we
that
have a
whip,
we have
yo.
a quick release
Broke
steering
my
wheel.
nose with it. It was great.
We have a quick release steering wheel and a hub lock. Like
Yeah.
that's anti-theft device.
Yeah, it definitely is.
So yeah, quick release steering wheel is a great.
It's not on the list, but okay, yes, now it is.
All right, aftermarket head unit and subwoofers.
No.
Drive a-
Aftermarket amplifier and speakers.
Drive
yes.
a Subaru. Factory Subaru stereos are garbage.
I know, but it's because of the amplification and the
Amplification.
I like amplification. That's good. Amplification and the speakers.
No, it's actually even the head units are terrible.
Okay,
quality.
fine. So you fine, yes, head unit.
The
no
reason
to subwoofers.
the reason
No
is they had a factory optional Macintosh head unit in the early
I
2000s.
do like Macintosh. That's pretty cool.
And they wanted to make those seem
They
even
wanted the
more
Golf
apparent.
to be
So the normal one is like extra shitty.
I don't like when manufacturers do that. Like they make it with something that they're intending to sell, and then they like devise a way to cheapen the vehicle around it.
Well, so like here's a different example. Honda. 90s Honda. Sorry, I've been talking about them constantly because
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
I've spent literally tens of thousands of
Years.
dollars and
Was it JD
a
and
decade
Chime
of my
over there?
life. Yeah, like a decade of my life modifying Hondas.
No way.
Factory Honda radios, the standard ones usually are meh at best. But
Yeah.
if you get like a Honda 3000, which was that optional tape deck in the late 80s,
yeah.
very good stereo.
Well, again, it's probably got good amplification.
Yeah, exactly.
Amplification.
If you have like the Gathers stereo,
I don't know what that is.
Gathers is the aftermarket Honda brand. I think it's Pioneer's Japanese brand.
Oh, okay.
But Gathers is a great brand of stereo, and they sound fantastic. And honestly, their tape decks
Yeah.
from like the EFs and EG Civics, and their optional CD player you can get in the CRX.
Very decadent.
Yeah, in a CRX.
Yeah, and that
So-
time that actually was
that
quite
probably
decadent.
took up the whole trunk.
No, it just took place of the tape deck.
In dash.
Yeah, it is an in-dash. It's
Way
really
more
cool.
impressive, yeah.
But they you could get that, and that would sound much better. And you'd also have provisions for a subwoofer if you wanted it.
Great. I just want an aux. That's the only reason I
Yeah.
would change out a head unit these
Yeah,
days.
no, my van, I'm totally changing out because I have no aux cable.
I'm going back to
God.
stock on my Accord because somebody took out the glorious tape deck, even though that it has the optional cassette holders. And so I've got a cassette holder in my Accord, but a CD player
I've had that, yeah.
And no aux cable.
and no aux
That's
cable.
the worst of all worlds.
Yeah.
So I'm like, there's no way for me to play these cassettes. I need a stock one. And people are like, here, just take mine. And I'm like, why are you taking yours out?
I do want to find Jana Honda 3000. That'd be really cool.
Yeah.
And I would get her one of the Gathers ones, but then she could literally only listen to 89.3 the current because Japanese
the tuner's
radios.
bad. Oh,
I need
no,
NPR.
No, they stop at 89.9.
Right, I forgot they were on different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
like they're like 73 to 89.
Alrighty, next one. Trailer hitches.
Yes.
Yeah, every car should have a trailer hitch.
Yes, I concur.
No more pickup trucks. Yes, trailer hitches on every car.
Yeah.
Stickers.
There's no reason
No.
for pickup.
Depends.
Although I do it to pretty much every car I own.
You shouldn't, but you do anyway.
I'm going to.
I mean, I
My
need
car
to
groups,
make
bro.
I need to make my silver Toyota 2006 Sienna stand out, so I gotta put a few stickers
Well, I
on
mean, if,
Well,
you,
wait a
if you
minute.
enjoy street cred,
I think the only stickers you should buy are MotorCult stickers.
it. Oh.
and you don't even have to buy them if you're a patron.
Yes,
Yeah.
become a Patreon.
Plus 5 horsepower.
Yeah, each one of these stickers right here,
You're sitting on thousands of horsepower.
5 horsepower asterisk.
Thousands of
Oh, wait,
horsepowers.
there, it's like this.
Yes, it's like
next
that.
time I make these, if we're still with this logo, I'm gonna put like a line under it. See,
How about you just write MotorCult at the bottom?
I
Yeah.
will probably do that, and then I'm gonna add like a beer in there somewhere
Yeah.
because we do a lot of beer stuff
Do a secret
Um,
beer.
now.
All right, did you want to do another one, or how are we sitting for the show?
We have enough time to do the interesting engineering. I think we're at an hour and 22, so a
Okay,
little
we'll-
longer,
we'll-
but
we'll
not
just do it.
terrible.
I'm gonna switch interesting engineering out from the super hikers I was gonna do. We'll do that next time.
Okay, do you want to do the
Yes, I'm gonna do the Mazda 929
Okay.
super cool sunroof fans.
Ooh.
And you're wondering, what is that?
Kinda, but I've seen an as seen on TV ad for a similar device.
So the Mazda 929 in the early 90s was Mazda's like equivalent to a Lexus LS.
Yep,
Is rear-wheel drive V6. So it was pretty cool, actually.
it was pretty cool, and it was still a JDM car.
Yeah, it was.
It was almost like the Q45, but on a budget.
It was a Cosmo. Well, the thing is, in Mazda, they never gave us a luxury brand, even though they had one in Japan.
Mhm.
That Effany was, or no, sorry, not Effany. Unos
I
was
was gonna
their.
say Eunice, I think.
Unos was their luxury brand in Japan. They never brought it here for whatever reason, which is
'Cause they
actually kind of
suck.
cool because for automotive historians, it makes a really cool case study for what would have happened if Toyota didn't make Lexus and they just sold the Toyota Celisaur as a Toyota.
Well, the same thing with Infiniti too, and Nissan.
Yeah.
That was around the same time, but it was.
They were an Infiniti, Lexus, and Toyota,
Yeah.
or an Acura.
And what
Yeah.
about
They were
Toyota
all-
and Scion?
Toyota and Scion's a different thing.
Yeah, that was
Totally
marketed
different.
towards young people.
Yeah,
and trying
that
to be a
was-
cost-conscious Toyota.
Yeah, that was more of a frankly,
Interesting
it was a
thing to
failure.
touch
yeah,
on
it,
still,
it was
but-
it was still kind of cool.
First gen XB was cool.
Anyway, so Mazda released the 929. It was a super luxury car, and one of the things they had was a fan, actually two fans that were
Ooh,
built.
ritzy.
Yeah, that were built into the front and rear of the cabin,
Mm-hmm.
and they were powered by a solar panel in the sunroof. So when you have your car parked with a weak battery in the middle of summer, your car's not going to die.
Oh yeah.
So it charged the car battery as well as powering the
No,
fans?
it powered these fans, but the fans wouldn't kill the car battery.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah,
So it
it's-
just kept I bet that kept the interior like 20 or 30 degrees
Yeah,
cooler.
huge difference.
So
in
would it
interior.
auto pop the sunroof, or would you have to pop the sunroof?
No, it does not, because one was a pusher fan and one was a puller.
Oh.
So it'd circulate
okay.
heat. It's either the front
That's
or the
actually kinda
rear.
cool.
Because heat rises, and you get more heat being created in the front. So yeah, you would be pushing from the front to the rear.
Yeah, that makes
So
sense.
it'd blow the heat out the rear, and
Sure.
then it would exit.
I blow my heat out the rear
Yeah,
too.
exactly.
Mm.
It would exit in one of the rear wheel wells.
Okay, so probably just like where the HVAC would normally go.
Exactly.
If you were set
So-
it on the take-in air.
Like, you know, I have that little flap on the
Yep.
inside of your trunk. It's
yeah,
kind of like
take
that.
off a rear bumper
Yeah.
cover and you see that rubber
Yeah,
whale,
is that
wild and
thing.
wacky inflatable flailing arm tube man
Yeah.
inside there.
Yeah, it would
Probably
exit out
mounted
that.
right there.
So it was
Okay.
actually, it was super cool, super effective. More
Was
manufacturers
that every 929 or was it an option?
standard.
Wow.
If you had,
Wow.
it was,
I say we find one of these in a junkyard and take it
Yeah.
out.
yeah, because it was
Put
super
it in
cool.
the
I would,
Mazda 5.
I've been when I was
Nice.
right after I blew up the Crest, I'm like, I kind of want to replace it with a 929.
No.
I tried to find one.
Crescent is pretty cool.
I could not find a 929.
Yeah, I've seen one in my life.
I've seen two.
Wow.
And each time I saw them, I thought it was a Millennia. And then it took me like a long time to go, shit, I just saw a 929.
Oh, fuck.
Oh no.
But no, they're
I should
super
have
cool.
thrown my
I've-
business card at him.
Yeah. If I would totally get one, and I think like I'm not sure, but in Japan, I assume they probably had like a rotary version and put a rotary in
Oh,
it.
God.
That'd be really cool. Well, because it was
They probably call it like an RE9 or something.
It'd blow
no, it would-
Chicago's mind.
it was it was a continuation of the Cosmo. It was the last generation Cosmo,
Right.
and the Cosmos historically were always rotary, at least rotary optional.
Yeah.
So that's where it would come from. So I think I don't know. I'd have to check with Ben, my editor, and because he'll probably know off the top of his head. But
Fair enough.
anyway, that is it. I thought it was super interesting.
Yeah,
I do
it's
not have a
Very
picture
ahead
of
of
it.
its time. Unfortunately, I don't have it pulled
but
up either.
the fact that I've never seen that since.
Not on a factory car, no. Well, Fisker Karma did have that.
Okay, so Fisker Karma. So the 929 and the Fisker Karma.
Boom.
2 cars.
There
Those
you
are
go.
the two cars I've ever had that feature.
And on
yeah,
that
not even-
bombshell.
Not even. Wait a minute.
I'm trying to steal your thunder.
I did not mention anything pre-war this episode.
I did, actually.
Yeah, you
You
mentioned
did.
the Duesenberg.
However, there's a really cool Packard for sale on Bring a Trailer. Mash up button. Thank you. It was really cool. And you know what it sold for?
Probably a ton of money.
No, actually a really attainable 12 grand because they were selling a pre-war car to a bunch of millennials. So, the best place to buy a Packard is bringatrailer.com. All right, on that bombshell,
It
it's
is
time to
time
end
to
our show.
end.
Thank you and see you in 3 days.
Yeah, thanks for listening, guys.
Mine.